For 6 years, I have bought, sold, and traded cards online and in person as a hobby and now a business. I started this when I was 13 years old just to be able to afford some cool cards for my personal collection and have turned it into a six-figure annual revenue business. I want to break down exactly how I go about my day-to-day and week-to-week operations as a full-time college student while also trying to manage cards, while also trying to manage YouTube and everything outside of that. I've made content before for years consistently and not throughout different periods of my life, but I'm dedicating this video as the start of documenting my sports card journey. With that being said, let's get straight on into it. Today, I got one package from a deal that I made on my Climb Discord, which is completely free. If you guys want to join, the link is in the description. I'm on there buying and selling as well as many other people every day. So let me show you what we got. This is from Start Cards, who's again in the Discord, also on Instagram, so shout out to him. Someone I've done many deals with and had many conversations with. It's important to build connections. That is the biggest piece of advice I have ever gotten. And I might not have gotten this deal if I wasn't someone who had talked to him, treated him fairly in the past, sold to him at nice prices, or paid fair prices to him. And that's the only way you're going to be able to be successful long term. You don't want to be the second, third, fourth, fifth, last person that someone sends a card to. You want to be the first person someone sends a card to. You want to be the first person someone wants to buy from. You can get there by selling for the cheapest or paying for the strongest, but there are so many people who buy and sell at basically every single percent that it's not really the best way to distinguish yourself. There are plenty of people who pay the same amount that I pay or sell for the same amount that I sell for, but people come to me to buy and to sell not because of the percents that I buy and sell at, but because of how I treat people, how quickly I ship, how well I ship, photos I take, the listings I make on eBay, on Instagram. That is how you distinguish yourself from the other people. First card we picked up is the Anthony Simons nameplate from Immaculate. Anthony Simons is not obviously a fantastic superstar NBA player, but he is a very solid player. A lot of people have been putting him as one of their breakout players year after year, as someone they think is going to explode. And he has done that. He's lived up to a lot of expectations. I think he averages like 24 points a game. And now he's on the Celtics, a very injury-riddled Celtics. So hopefully he'll have an opportunity to be a very big piece on that team and maybe lead them to the playoffs. Second card and last card in this lot is the Caitlin Clark Bowman U Topps now patch. Clark stuff has been on a decline recently as she has been out for the season, but she's still a very liquid player and sells constantly for me. I don't remember exactly what I paid for these two cards. I'll put it up on screen. Hopefully by the end of this video, we got these sold. Let's see what we do next. All right, so it's been a couple days since that last clip, and we have got a whole bunch of mail. It is sitting all over my desk, which for lack of a better word is quite messy. So I don't really know where to start. That first deal with the Simons and the Clark, we haven't quite moved on from them, and that's because I haven't had the time to list them. I have been crazy busy with everything with school. So these two are still available at the current recording of this video, but I did get these two in the mail for my guy Pack Burst. I believe that's his Instagram handle. His name is Jordan. He's in the Instagram, and he's also in the Discord, which again is linked down below. We got the Lillard Deca Gold auto and then the McCain auto. Originally where I got these in, I listed them on Discord for $275 firm. And after like an hour or so, wasn't getting any bites. And so someone on Instagram reached out about the Lillard and said, could you do 210? And we were kind of going back and forth on what we thought the value was. There were pretty strong comps towards 260, I believe. I'll throw them up on the screen. So I thought that was a pretty fair value, and I sell things for about 90%. And I ended up moving it for 90%, which are just above, I should say, just at 235. So I think that's slightly above 90% for the Lillard. So that puts me, I was into this for 215 and I'm into this for 40. So after shipping, that should be about a $17 profit on the Lillard, and still looking to move the McCain. Now basketball season is coming up, and at this point, almost a month. And I'm a Sixers fan, as you can tell by the Embiid and Paul George posters hanging up back there. So I think McCain is a great player, great investment. And someone would be okay to hold while training camp happens. I would always say never hold a card, for the season in expectations that a player will play well. And I don't like to buy guys like McCain or the young stars, really, especially when the season starts right away. I do think it's a good idea to hold it for maybe a week or two, as now that the hype of football season is over, since I think it's week 3 or 4 at this point, now people will start looking towards basketball at least a little bit over these coming months. Next slot is going to go against everything I just said. McCarthy auto, again, I don't like to buy rookies especially this one's collegiate. I got this in a lot with a Kobe patch. That one right there is number to 24, and that's a game-used shoe. And then a Jalen Green RPA number to 10. Now, these 3 cards were sent to me on Instagram, and this deal probably took over the course of a week. I was very upfront with the guy. I was like, I do not want this McCarthy, and I really do not want this Jalen Green. All I really wanted was the Kobe. He told me he was looking to get out of cards and just didn't want them. I ended up offering stronger than I really wanted to. On the Kobe, I have no problem paying 85%, but on this sort of stuff, I barely wanted it at 80%. I paid like 82, 83, and you might be saying that's good, and yes, it's not bad. Like, it's not like these cards are terrible, but McCarthy, through his first 2 games, looked very bad. He had 1 good quarter. Outside of that, I think his passer rating was like below a 40, and now he's injured for like a month. So this is a rather expensive card. It's about $400 or $500. You know, nothing crazy, but not something I want to have $400 to $500 in, because this is probably A, going down in value every single day that I have it, and B, not super liquid. So honestly, not super happy with this buy, but again, I got it at a relatively cheap price, so hopefully I'll be able to at least break even on it. And then Jalen Green is a player who, for the last couple years, was very hyped up. He's a very dynamic scorer, but a lot of people think he's more of a stat patter, ball hog, inefficient shot chucker, and that's not to be rude towards Jalen Green. He's a much better basketball player than I will ever be, but he doesn't get a lot of hobby love, is my point. Again, this is not a very liquid card. This is not a card I really want to have by any means, but if it allowed me to get a good deal on this Kobe card, which I had a lot of interest in just when I posted like an incoming story, a lot of people were interested in this, so I think I'll have no problem getting a really strong offer here. This next lot I bought off Instagram. Drake May Optic numbered to 125 on the PSA 10. Again, not really happy with this card, but this card allowed me to buy this one, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So this is the Luka Optic checkerboard, and I'm sorry for the lighting. It doesn't look very cool. It honestly kind of looks like a base card, at least in the camera preview that I'm seeing. But this is the checkerboard, very rare case hit, I believe, BGS 95. The sales are very strange on it. PSA 9 is about $850, and the last 2 9.5s are $2,000 and $1,300. So I think what I did for these 2 is I paid $1,800, averaged this to about $1,650, I think is the average between those 2 sales. For the May, I think usually from what I noticed, he's pretty comparable to Bo Nix in terms of sales. So I looked at Bo Nix's version of this card, since May's didn't have any sales in a 10. And the raw difference was like 2.5x between May and Bo Nix. So I guess farther than what I thought it would be, but Nix was about 100 and May did about 250 raw. And Nix had a 10 sale at 450. So I used that multiplier 2.5, forgive me, I believe it was 1.5, not 2.5, which would get me to about like 600, 650 in value, whatever the math adds up to be. So total value about 1,200, and I paid about 1,800. I think that's pretty good. It's about 80%. Obviously, I might be going a little high on the on the May, or high on the Luka. Could go either way. These are both cards that you're kind of guessing, and that can either work out really well or it can work out really bad. So stay tuned to find out how it works out on those 2. Last little stack of pickups. I picked this up off my Discord, a Giannis Antetokounmpo lot. This was from someone who I guess was trying to reshuffle their PC a little bit. They had a lot of Lillard and Giannis stuff, and maybe wanted to move into different cards. I'm not exactly sure, but either way, we're looking to sell some of their PC. First is the gold laser auto number to 2 from Contenders Optic. This one had some really strange sales. So the last 3 are 600, 900, and 1400. Now the thing about the 600 is that one was listed as out of 10. Most gold cards are out of 10, but this one is numbered to 2. So that seller was mistaken. So I kind of not ignored the $600 sale, but didn't take it into account as much, and it didn't value it quite at the 900. I valued it more towards the $800 range. This is the type of card that I took a chance on, because it could very well be worth $600, but I was looking at, at a 15 sales, at a 25 sales, and those were all $500-$600 range. So I think an out of 2 should be at least $800-$900. I think that's very safe. Giannis, yet again, gold select auto to 10. This one is out of 8. This one, again, had some kind of strange sales. I think the last 2 were 600 and 400. So again, split the value right there, put it at around $500 when I purchased it, hoping to get around 450 out of it. This one is the green courtside select number to 5. I think this one's worth around 180. We might have paid around 140-ish. This card we kind of added in towards the end of the deal, as we weren't super close on the next card that I'm about to show you. Originally, I only wanted this next card, but we had to keep adding things to bring us closer to bridge the gap. And this was the one that finally got us, the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, that finally got the deal done. So this one is not a crazy card, but still a very cool one, and color match green numbered to 5, can't go wrong. So here it is, the card that I started this whole deal over, the Giannis nameplate nobility numbered to 13, I believe. Yes, the T patch. So my game plan is I'm going to go ahead and list up all the stuff, including the Simons, the Clark, and everything here that you just saw. And my next clip hopefully should be me telling you I made a lot of money. If it's not, hopefully it's me picking up something cool, but let's see what I do. All right, it's now September 21st, and we have got a giant stack of sales here. I'm going to break down every single card that we sold, and I'm going to have like a profit loss counter on screen somewhere, so let's get into it. First, we got the Jordan Hawkins Downtown. Bought it for $240, sold it for $255. After shipping, $9 profit here. That one of those Giannis's that we picked up, sold this one for $165 after shipping $158, so a $13 profit on the green courtside out of 5. This was a massive lot. We sold this lot for $25.30. I'm into the lot for $2,260. It's the Gold Laser Auto, the Select Auto, the Letterman of Giannis, and the letter of Anthony. Sold these for $25.30 as I mentioned, so that's a $260 profit on this stack alone. Jared McCain Auto, sold this one on eBay for a $6 profit. Bought it for $40, sold it for $53, so after fees and shipping, down to $46. The Giannis printing plate we sold for $125. This was a surprising one. I had this one listed for maybe a week or two at $125 oboe. I had been sending out like 115 offers, 110 offers, and no bites. And then someone, as I was sleeping, bought it without even sending an offer at the full 125 ask. So we sold this one for $101 after fees, and we're into it for $85. So a $16 profit on the Giannis. The first and only loss of this stack right here. This card I've had for God, it's got to be at least since like May or June. It's an ED Authentic in-person auto. I bought it in like a massive lot with like 50 cards, and it was just kind of in there. I bought it. I paid 50% of what it had sold for, and still I guess wasn't good enough. At the time, it was like a $40 card, or at least that's what the comps were when I bought it. Those comps were a few months old at that time. That's why I paid so low, because he had a lot of products being released, so I thought it's going to go down, and the seller understood that opinion, or at least agreed with that opinion. So ended up getting really cheap on this one, and it still was not that good. So I was sick of seeing it in my case. I just threw it up on eBay auction, and we got $11 for it, which I'm honestly so fine for. I think it's like a $10 loss after fees and shipping, so not so bad. And with the profits that we have so far, it's gonna counteract it rather instantly. Another big sale, the Drake May Red Optic. We bought this one for $400 and sold it for $600 on eBay. I originally thought it was maybe closer to $550, $500, but I threw it up at a high buy it now, and we ended up getting a really fair offer. So after fee is going to be a $110 profit on this one. Next, we have the Howie Roseman Leaf Auto. Go Birds. Sold this one for $65 on eBay. We were into it for $50. So after fees, it is approximately a $4.70 profit. I had to check my sheet there. So nothing crazy, but you have the big ones and the small ones. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm making profit, I'm not going to complain. Final sale of this stack is the Mantle PSA 1 from 1959. This one has like a giant crease down the middle, so I thought the eye appeal on this one wasn't too great, but we ended up selling it at what most of the comps were going for. It sold for $235. We were into it for $183. So after fees, that is an $18 profit. I'll have the final tally up on the video. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but if you guys enjoyed this style of video, please let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, anything you'd like to see. Feel free to drop any questions down below that hopefully I can answer in the next video. I would like to do a question a day type segment where I answer one question from the previous video. So if that's something that interests you guys, please let me know in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. My Instagram, my Discord, my eBay, and all that's down below, but you don't have to click on any of that. I just appreciate you guys watching. If you saw something in this video that you happen to be interested in, again, you can hit me up on those platforms. Or if you have cards to sell, I am always buying. Again, hit me up there. Thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one.